One that I really like here, and you'll see, is doing a cable curl here, mimicking a front double bicep. So how I do it, I like to do this seated so we can take our legs out of it, any momentum. So we're gonna be seated here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna throw our elbows forward.
Come on, Martin.
That's good. Yep.
Yeah, so we're gonna take it. Like, there's so much, like,
A little bit of posing. So I like to do some posing either in the mornings we usually do after cardio, or we do a post session here on the training session. Today we're just gonna do it right here, and he's gonna walk me through like what a typical, competition is gonna look like with the quarter turns and the mandatories. So he'll be like the coach in there. We'll kind of hit each pose, show off the physique, and kind of learn something on how we like to pose as well. So here we go.
All right, guys. So to start off, we got the quarter turns. We're gonna go into those. I'm gonna give you quick little pointers and tips in every single pose. Something little to take away that you can work on yourself. But part of this is just gonna be showing you guys how we go through our posing and kind of show you guys what it's like a training session rather than teaching a lot. So you're gonna get some tips and tricks here, but mainly it's gonna be about posing him and showing you guys how we train ourselves. All right, front relaxed,
Set the legs first.
Yeah, so I'm gonna call these poses out. Brett's gonna hit them. I'm gonna walk you guys through it. So from the ground up, everything starts. So Brett, you noticed he flexed his legs first, then abs, then went into everything else. He's got a big chest here. He's really taking this sternum to the ceiling, and then he's flexing his hips back, making himself have a great V-taper here. This quarter turn. So I'm making him hold each pose about 10 seconds. As I go through these, I'm giving you guys tips. He's holding, really working on keeping this waist tight. So here, a couple things. Using the back adductor to really push on this hamstring here, give an illusion of a bigger hamstring. Then really turning across your waist makes it look small. Again, giving the V-taper. And then Brett's really holding tight, pushing all of his air out, keeping his waist small. Quarter turn. So we go to the back here. Again, as you see, the legs up. He's starting with the hamstrings, glutes, low back, then working into the delts and the shoulder taps here. As you see, again, he's lifting his chest to the ceiling, giving him a big wide back, giving a good V-taper here. And as you can see, Brett's legs are big, so he has a really good X-frame here. Quarter turn. So this is gonna be the same as the other side. Really working that back hamstring, pushing against this hamstring, turning across your body, making the waist small again. And we're gonna make him hold for about 5 more seconds here. Really tight, as you see. Brett is calm and composed here. He's not shaking, he's not breathing real hard. This is a time to really breathe and take your time. It's almost like a time to think of symphony music. Really get in your head and find your happy place. Front double bicep. Again, from the ground up, he's hitting his legs, waist tight, big arms, big chest here, flaring the lats. A little trick that we use is pushing the elbows forward a little bit to get the thickness in the chest, also to give more of an illusion of bigger lats here. This is a great shot on Brett because he has a crazy X-frame and he's got these huge arms, especially after arm day, showing off his good X-frame. Front lat. Again, very similar, except for coming through. Big thing here, guys, is big chest, really getting these lats to come through. A lot of guys struggle with that. It's something I struggle with. It's usually tightness in the back or the chest. It's something that you can get tissue work on, but also just posing will help. As you see, again, he's tight, and this is away from the judges a little bit. What that does, again, gives the shoulders the illusion of being bigger and wider, and the waist an illusion of smaller and narrower. Side chest. As you see in his setup, he's showing off his tiny waist and his tricep. Then going into a shot here, Brett has great arms. He's showing off the glute and the good hamstring drop here. And then he's really turning across his body to give the density in the pec over here, as well as showing off the bicep by pushing it into the lat over here and staying big chest and air in the chest, not in the waist. Side try. So leg setup is the same here. As you see, Brett, as he gets leaner and leaner, he can finally get into this pose. He's got the abs crunched down here, and it's all about keeping the waist tight. So this is one pose that you really want to focus on keeping the waist tight and the air blown out, and then really show off your shape. So Brett's got great shape here when he gets the hamstring drop in the tiny waist. And as you can see, I'm working his ass off. Rear double. Ground up, he's spiking one leg to really show off his hamstring. Something that we say is 90% of the weight on this leg, 10% on this leg. It's just a kickstand. Now that he's in his pose, main things to think about here: chest to the ceiling, rotating these hands to the judges. What that does is creates a big bicep peak, also gives you the detail in the rhomboids and the teres here. Rear lat spread. So legs are the same here. Legs spike 90%, 90-10. Going into it here, big chest. He's really going to drive those elbows to the back wall to help open him up. And then he's lifting this chest to the ceiling, which is giving the shoulders the illusion of being wider while the waist being narrow. Abdominal and thigh. So leg setup can kind of be anything here, guys. But what you really want to focus on is getting the X-frame. So as you see here, Brett's reaching big behind his head, kind of wide, making sure his lats flare big here, as well as his quads, while keeping the waist narrow and tight, and always keeping the air blown out. Most muscular. Now this is Brett's shot. I don't think there's anyone that can beat him in this. His arms and chest density is nasty. So this is something that you're gonna have to play with to find that works with your physique best. Hands clasped is by far Brett's best, but putting his hand on his hip shows off his narrow waist as well. And then as you can see, he also hits the crab here, signature for Phil in our gym, and it just looks nasty when you're big and dense. So as you guys can see, we work through each pose about 10 seconds a piece. He's sweating his ass off. We're gonna do this 2 or 3 times, really get him in shape so that we can do 2 or 3 rounds without breathing heavy or having a hard time, because we know Steve Weinberger's gonna work our ass off when we get on the big boy stage.